in the Cross Bayou development proposal. It's Marty Berger. He is with Sabre Real Estate North in New York City. Justin Papadakis, United Soccer League. Mr. Marty, let's get back to your presentation later today to the Emerging Business Committee on the City Council. Specifically, when Larry English from GDC was here a couple of weeks ago, the latest request, I guess, is 88 acres of land. There's a TIF, which is a tax, I think that's an incentive. You can explain that a little bit. What else are you going to want from the city that really people are going, we don't have that much to give?
Well, firstly, what we want from the city is a commitment to be partners with us in terms of the desire and objective of rebirthing downtown Shreveport. That's a critical component to our success. In terms of the specific request, it's quite small. There's an 88-acre piece of land, Cross Bayou, hasn't been used ever, sitting there vacant, and it needs environmental remediation. The first thing we're asking for simply for them to give it to us, for us to bring to an economic use. The second part of it pertains to what's called a TIF, or tax incremental financing.
That was it, thanks.
And basically what that means is while we're putting in a tremendous amount of infrastructure, public infrastructure and improvements into the project in order to make it work, we're at the same time taking the taxes, the real estate taxes that are being paid, from a very, very low number, pennies, to millions of dollars per year. So we're basically saying, allow us to use a small piece of that increase in real estate tax that we generate from our project in order to retire bonds that we will borrow in order to put the infrastructure in.
Do you see Sabre in this? I guess the term would be for the long haul.
By definition, yeah, it is a long haul. The development itself, it will probably, the initial development hopefully will be office buildings with residential, with the arena, and then various forms of retail and housing that'll ultimately take 5 to 10 years, depending upon the market demand.
Why does why does Shreveport need more retail? I mean, we have a habit here in town of, as anybody will tell you, of building new stuff and moving old stuff there, leaving vacant stuff. How is this different?
Well, that's exactly what we're trying to solve. You know, there's been a migration out of the downtown area. You can go 10, 12 miles out and you can see what used to be downtown. And it left a major void in downtown. Frankly, I think it's a disaster. I've not seen a city that's been devastated so much and left behind so much. So the purpose of Cross Bayou is really to create, first of all, traffic. You need traffic, you need people in order to support restaurants, in order to support retail, in order to support jobs. So the first and foremost purpose of it is to create a synergy amongst various uses. And that's exactly why we're excited about the stadium. The stadium brings people. And when people come to an area that has retail and restaurants and perhaps residential and offices nearby, they're going to linger, they're going to stay. Unlike the Independent Stadium, which is off of a highway, you drive to it, you go, and you leave. Here you have a stadium that hopefully you can walk to, and you can experience restaurants and retail and regenify the area.
I know, talking to Mr. Larry a couple of times, he had mentioned that overtures had been made to, starting off earlier, it was the state of Louisiana about moving their facility, the people from the corner of Jordan and Fairfield to downtown, to the Cross Bayou area. And then he had also alluded a couple of times to that the overtures also to Caddo Parish about moving the courthouse and stuff, the court buildings and stuff, offices down there. What's the progress there that you can update us?
Well, we're hopeful that will both happen. Both of those facilities are quite outdated and undersized for the population of workers that need to be there. You have different security needs today than you did 20, 30, 50 years ago. The parish building is 100 years old. You have different technology, et cetera. The parish building is one of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen. To be able to get our hands on that, hopefully, and revitalize it and rehab it into residential or offices would be a phenomenal opportunity to
So you're talking about taking that building over also, not only the new building at Cross Bayou.
Well, I or anyone would. I would love to. But to be able to use that and as a catalyst to bring people into downtown on Texas Street would be phenomenal. And at the same time, to be able to move the building onto our site into a new modern facility with proper technology, proper security, for it to be an anchor would be an enormous economic boost to us as well as to the city itself, similar with the state.
Justin Papadakis, United Soccer League, 36 teams. Did I see that this weekend? I looked it up. Tell me a little bit about your league and why Shreveport you see as a potential expansion franchise.
Sure. So we have 36 teams in our championship division, 10 teams.
Is this a professional league? Is it an amateur, like a junior developmental league? Tell me.
And that's a critical point. So we position our league as a top professional league. In the United States, in other sports, baseball, basketball, hockey, you have a major and minor league construct, which that is different in soccer, where we don't have a major league and a minor league. So we think it's very important that our team is positioned as a top professional league. And what we really see is, just because our cities are traditionally smaller than a Dallas, for example, Shreveport doesn't view itself as a minor league city just because it has a smaller population than a Dallas. It views itself as a top quality city, just like we do with our league. And so we think that's a critical distinction. And what we see across the country is our teams in our cities view their USL team as a way to compete regionally, nationally, and internationally. And so when you pull up ESPN Plus, you'll see Cristiano Ronaldo and his team in Italy. You'll see FC Dallas and their MLS team. And hopefully soon you'll see Shreveport's team right there in parallel with those other major teams across the world and across the United States. And we think that's really important for Shreveport to have a team that they're proud of, and that's their team.
Mr. Marty, in wrapping up,
Yes.
you're going to go talk today to the Emerging Business Committee, Shreveport City Council. But I'm sure you spent a little time here. You've talked to some folks here. You've gotten a little feedback. What do you think, not only, two-parter, what have been the major objections that you feel you have to overcome to this point, and what harder questions, what tough questions do you expect to face today?
I think that we've overcome quite a bit. I think the number one question is how does the Cross Bayou help or hurt downtown? And why isn't it more important to put dollars perhaps on Texas Street in downtown? And I think the question has been asked and answered. The Cross Bayou is an extension of downtown. It's an impetus to grow downtown and to rebuild it. And I think that we've made that quite evident to the players that we've talked to. And I think that the resolution that I hope people have come to and that we're going to hear today is, this might not be exactly what we've envisioned for 10, 20, 30 years, but hey, nothing's happened in 30 years. So we might as well get this, use this, implement this, and start the rebirth of downtown.
We have a little in this community, let me call it scar tissue, going back to the Gleibermans, the Canadian family a couple of years ago. Most recently, the Elio Motors. Bluntly speaking, people in this area feel like they've been fleeced a couple of times. Have you encountered that attitude, and how do you counter that?
I haven't encountered the attitude, no. And I guess the way we answer that is, well, it's our dollars in. We're the first dollars in. We're the last dollars in. I don't see anyone else throwing money in other than us. It's our cash. It's our investment. If we do well, we will generate the tax increment financing that will allow us to pay back our bonds. But until that time, it's all of our money. Everyone else is more than willing to contribute.
Get on the truck, folks. Everybody's going to make a few dollars. That's your attitude?
The attitude.
I mean, you guys aren't in this to lose money.
Oh no, we're in this to make money over the long term. There's no question about that. The only way we can do it, though, is with being successful in growing the downtown community. If people aren't going to move back downtown, if people aren't going to open businesses downtown, and offices aren't going to come down, neither the stadium or us are going to make money, and it won't work overall. But certainly by making this investment and bringing these users to downtown, you're igniting a spark. You're igniting a fire, and hopefully it'll catch, and people in the greater Shreveport area will come on board. It won't be the first or last time that after we're the first in, others jump in the water.